How's it going, everyone? My name is DrapPep, and welcome back to another installment of Drap Chat. Today, I went for a walk. I went outside, and it was actually worth my time. You see, I do a lot of thinking when I'm walking. A lot of thinking. And I had this idea, since I love to think so much, I'm so good at it while I'm walking, that I was going to walk down to the Dollar Tree and back. And while I was doing so, I would start thinking about what I should be talking about in these episodes, in Draft Chats. And it was a lot more eventful than I thought it would be. I was able to record some vlogs because I brought my camera with me. Whenever I go outside, I try to bring my camera with me to record. Once I get my phone replaced and upgraded, I will be doing a lot more recordings just on my phone, which would work a lot better. I'm actually looking for a phone that can record in better quality than my current one can. The phone I have now, whenever I record with it, it's like the audio and video unsync. So like you'll hear the audio not with my lips. Like it's a little off, and I hate that. But now it makes like popping and cracking sounds when I record, and the audio itself is not loud. So I don't record with my phone. So the moment I get that replaced, I'll probably be doing a lot more recordings with my phone. But until then, I'm just going to have to keep bringing my camcorder, my little camera. And it does a pretty good job. A lot of my vlogs that I post, that's what I'm using. I'm using a camera, not my phone. So while I was outside, I did lots of recordings, a lot of vlogging, and it worked. By walking and thinking about what I should talk about in these episodes, it actually did a lot of good. So I might actually start going outside more often, if I can, daily going outside. And it was actually kind of nice. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that going outside was going to be so nice? Of course, when it's not raining, that is. If it's raining, I'm not going to go outside. I don't want to walk around in the rain. Maybe I will. I do have waterproof boots. I do. I don't know. Maybe I will. That'd be kind of fun entertainment. I do have a jacket that's waterproof, and I could just get an umbrella. Oh, man, look at me trying to talk myself into walking outside in the rain. But the thing is that by walking, I was able to come up with a few topics. This being included as one of those topics. Talking about, how I enjoyed walking outside to think about what to think about. And as I was walking, I remember I would do this as leisure, as fun when I was a kid. The apartment complex I lived in was kind of a gated community. So my parents felt comfortable with me kind of walking on my own, as long as I was back home before night. So as long as I was home before the sun went down, I was usually golden. I was in the clear. And I would just spend the entire day walking in circles, thinking about everything and anything. And like I would come up with like these complex ideas. For example, one of the things that I loved was water guns. I loved water fighting, right? Water fights were the best. And I had this idea of how cool would it be if there was water guns that were all Star Wars related. And then you could have like a little LED at the end, so that way the water looks like a little laser coming out. And then you could have like sound effects of like the actual Star Wars gunfights. And then you can just put the gun in the water to recharge it. It's waterproof, obviously. And so you could then just sort of have like actual Star Wars fights with water. Out in the middle of the night too, where you could definitely see the lasers better. So then you're just like, just imagine it's a summer night. It's still a little warm. And you're just out there with your friends, just shooting each other with water. I don't know. That was such a cool idea to me. And then I thought about like, oh, how cool would that be if like there was like bases, like little towers that you can hide in and shoot from where you're safe. And then what if you had like, AT-ATs and AT-STs from Star Wars, and you like walk around these little robots. I mean, it was my imagination, so I was able to think of like all kinds of things. But like I really liked the idea of like being able to shoot each other with water. Now, I also had this idea of like, what if you went out in the woods with water guns and start shooting each other with water guns? It'd be kind of really hard to say you didn't get hit if you're, wet. Like if you got a little wet mark on you, obviously you got hit. But these are the kind of things I would think about all the time as a kid when I would go on walkings. And so it's no surprise that when I went on a walk today, that thinking about what I should talk about came more easily to me. Now, of course, I'll need energy drinks because, well, I need energy to be able to talk about these ideas, to be able to be enthusiastic about them. But I don't know why I never thought about this. I don't know why I never thought about maybe I should just go on walks and kind of ponder on what I should talk about. Go take a walk and kind of take some time to think about what I want to talk about. Because it makes sense now that I think about it, especially since I could take my camera with me and vlog wherever I go. Like, yeah, obviously that was the right idea. That was clearly, that's what I should have been doing this entire time. So I'm going to. I'm still going to go to the gym, right? I'm still going to work out in the gym and try to like actually lift weights and try to get stronger. But I think going on daily walks is going to, for one, it's really going to make me slim down. I'm going to be in a lot better shape by going on daily walks. But also, I'm probably going to end up thinking of some really cool topics to talk about. A lot of the topics I do want to talk about, sometimes I don't want to. Either because it's either too embarrassing or it's too painful to remember. Like it's subjects about my past that I just don't want to remember. A lot of times that's my jobs. Like the jobs I've done in the past, I don't want to remember those jobs. They were so stressful. I don't want to remember the companies I worked for. A part of me is kind of glad they went under. I feel bad for the people that lost their jobs, but we could all agree that job sucked. Like we could all agree, like it was awful. And a lot of times I don't talk about the jobs I've done because it just kind of brings up bad memories and it brings up old unhealed wounds, Sort of makes me feel like I should see a therapist about. I can only imagine. So what brings you to therapy? Oh, well, you see, I had this one job. Like, ugh. It was awful. I hated it. I also don't like really complaining about my past too much. The reason why is because I don't want to try to compare my pain to anyone else's, but at the same time, I feel like there's people who've suffered more than I have. So for me to sit here and complain about a lot of my past, I don't know. It makes me feel weird because people can easily have something worse than I went through. But at the same time, the things that I have complained about, it's the things that I feel like everyone can relate to. Like it's things that everyone experiences, like everyone has to pay taxes, right? We all have to deal with that at some point in our life or another. Or when you work in a retail store or even a grocery store or really any company, actually, you end up having to deal with angry customers or people who are just kind of rude or mean. That's just everyone has to deal with that. So like a lot of things that you will hear me complain about, I'm only complaining about it because I feel like it's something that we could all relate to. It's just something we could all agree on. Terrible, bad. We all hate it. But a lot of times, some of the subjects I don't want to talk about is because either I feel uncomfortable, it brings up bad memories, or I don't want to seem like I have it worse than someone else. So, yeah, sometimes I have to kind of think about what I want to talk about. I can't just talk about anything, right? I can't just sit here and mention something and then someone going, actually, you're wrong. Like, I can't talk about facts without looking them up because I don't want to spread misinformation. I can't talk about my past in a negative way because I don't want to make it seem like I have it worse than someone else. I don't want to bring up my jobs because I don't want to remember how bad they were. So yeah, I'm not gonna like just sit here and say anything. It might feel like I'm doing that. I know, But trust me, this is me actually trying to come up with subjects. And I think going on walks and kind of taking some time to think about what I want to talk about might actually help me out in the end. Both physically, healthy, but also it might help me think a little extra on the subjects I want to talk about. But that's going to be it for this installment. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in.